Our first item is our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Vice Chair, could you read our mission statement?
The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any additions? Hearing none. We will vote. It is approved. Public forum. Now it's time for the public to come forward if you would like to have a statement for the board. Moving on to our presentations, career and technical education. Welcome.
Thank you. I brought a few students along today.
All shining stars, right?
Yes, they, yeah.
And Brian, when they talk, be sure they talk to the mic. Okay. Thank you.
Well, apparently I'd signed up back in June to talk to the board in May, the end of May, about career and tech ed programming. And so when Tricia reminded us, Jeremy and I last week, that we were on for the meeting, I thought about what you might want to hear, and I took a guess that you would probably rather hear from our students than from me. And so I'll try to keep my part brief. I'll just provide you with an overview of our career and technical education programming, and then highlight two specific areas, two new areas, and then one area that is always changing and evolving. And so the students will have an opportunity to talk about their role and their experiences in that programming. So our programs offered, just a reminder, we offer career and tech ed both at Maytech and at Marshall High School, and of course at Maytech we have our welding and our CNA program. At the high school we offer a variety of career and tech ed programming in multiple departments: ag, business, fax, industrial tech, and also in special education. And career and tech ed programming is just what it suggests. It's trying to provide students with skills needed in a variety of technical and career-based areas. Some of the courses that we offer in agriculture that would fall under the CTE umbrella would be basic home and ag maintenance, ag structures, where they build buildings, most often in the form of sheds, storage sheds. They work with a couple of our area businesses who provide the material. Our students provide the labor, and then those businesses in turn sell those structures. Also, ag mechanics. In business, careers class is a local graduation requirement. All juniors take that course. We're one of the few schools, to our belief, in the state that have that as a graduation requirement. We've had that for a number of years, and I do think it helps to prepare our students for their life beyond high school, whether that be in the work environment or in post-secondary education. Within careers, or within our business department, we also have accounting and advanced accounting, and then a variety of classes to, again, try to help develop that skill and workforce skills that they will need. We also have our career internship, and we'll hear more about that in a second. Family and Consumer Science, FACS, we run the Foods ProStart 1 and ProStart 2 curriculum. Those are industry-based, restaurant-based type of a curriculum in place to help our students who are desiring to pursue a career in the food industry. In industrial tech, we have the traditional classes like the woods, the metal fabrication, and we also have brought back automotive repair and maintenance. all are areas that our workforce outlook would say that they're in desperate need of workers for the future. A couple of featured programming tonight, a career internship, and I'll let the kids talk a little bit about that, but that's where they go out and pursue opportunities in some career fields that they're looking at. It's dual credit, and so they receive both high school and post-secondary credit. And then a new program, a couple of new programs, the LIFT, Launch Your Future Today. I've talked about those previously, but we have Project Lead the Way, which is an engineering pathways program. And then we also we participate in the exploration in aviation program, and we've got some students who can talk about that. So with career internship, I'd like to introduce our students. We have senior Caitlin Matzner, senior Kaya Suker, and senior Erica Jones. And so, ladies, I think I'll let you just take over and talk a little bit about your career internship experience, maybe highlight kind of what it consisted of, what you did specifically, and then we'll go from there. So,
Okay.
go ahead. Just make sure you speak into the microphone.
So for my internship, I was at the Marshall Airport, and I was working with Lynn Johnson mainly. I never got to fly because there's a lot of liability things, but I learned a lot about the behind-the-scenes stuff, kind of what it takes to become a pilot, and I got to meet a lot of pilots, which was really neat. So I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a really great program for any student in our school.
And you're going off to school to become a pilot, right?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kaya Suker, and for my internship, I did speech pathology with Mrs. Roberts at the middle school and at True Light. And then I also interned with Mrs. Hoff at Parkside with her second grade students. I really enjoyed doing both, but I've decided to pursue speech pathology. And what I really loved about speech pathology is that there's many different avenues you can go into. You can go in school setting, clinic, or a hospital. And then I guess just based off of my internship experiences, I've decided to pursue speech pathology at the University of Mary in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Hello, I'm Caitlin Matzner. I did my internship at Avera. My first half I did it in the ER, and the second half I did it in labor and delivery. Kind of how internship works is they put it the last block of the day, so you're able to leave school, and then if you need to stay at your internship longer, you're able to stay longer. So that's kind of how it works. And then on Wednesdays we would have classrooms, so we would stay at the school, and that would be our day to kind of learn the curriculum. So yeah, I've decided to pursue nursing next year at Dordt University.
Ladies, how many students were in your program?
I think there were 7 in our class and then 2 this semester.
And so, plug for our career internship program on Wednesday afternoon after school. The students will be presenting their research projects. That'll be an open house format to the community, and certainly would invite the board members, if you're able, to stop out and visit with each of the students. They each took a specific project and did research about that, and they'll be presenting that. Each year the career internship programs change, and we're always trying to figure out how can we recruit additional students to participate in that, and then working with local employers to line those internship experiences up. We've had some pretty creative ones over the years. Healthcare is always a big one, but we've had students law enforcement. I can remember where we've had some students do high performance engine building, HVAC, and so really, you name it. We've had mortuary science, so they worked at a funeral home. And so there's really been, over the past several years, our students have had a broad array of experience, and I feel like the ability to put that on a resume maybe sets them apart, or when they go off to college and want to get into a competitive program, postgraduate program, this maybe helps give them an additional leg up over some of the other applicants. So it's a good program, and we certainly are always encouraging students to take advantage of that. The next program I'd like to talk about is Project Lead the Way, and I have Trey Weber, also a senior, who's here to talk about that.
All right, so if you didn't hear, my name's Trey Weber, and I took Project Lead the Way Intro to Engineering Design. And this was actually a joint class with Lakeview, and it was 2 days a week at Lakeview. And the class was kind of split into two halves. We had the lesson portion, which was just the Project Lead the Way curriculum. We would go through each lesson, and that kind of culminated in a final test that we took last week, where if you score high enough, you earn college credit through the University of Minnesota. And the other half was 3 different projects that we had. So the first project was kind of an introduction into like the design process. So we just made like a little puzzle toy basically. And then after that we were given a certain like toy or a certain product, and we were told to redesign it and make it better. And our final project was essentially the same thing, but we could choose whatever we wanted to do, or we could say, here's a problem and I want to fix it. And I think this class was a really good opportunity for especially someone like me, because I'm looking into going into engineering, and it kind of gave me the experience that I wouldn't have gotten if I had just not taken it. It kind of prepared me for going into that career field. So, yeah.
Did you do the projects as a group?
The first one, the puzzle, was individual, and then the other 2, you had a partner.
Where are you going to go to school?
University of Minnesota for mechanical engineering. Yeah.
That's a good school.
You're going to like the university campus too?
And so the Project Lead the Way is a national curriculum, and we started working with Lakeview, Minneota, and Yellow Medicine as a collaborative. We received a LIFT grant as some startup money. As part of the class, they also had industry tours, and they went to Action Sports in Marshall. You're going to have to help me. Was it Minneota? You went to
Universal Forest Products.
Okay.
And Extreme Panel in Cottonwood, and Marvalve in Granite Falls.
So as part of the class on those 2 days a week, they would go and visit the various industry tours. The days that they were not at Lakeview, they worked in the high school and in the media center. And what we have, about 8 students
From Marshall?
from
or
Marshall? 7 from Marshall and 2 or 3, 4 from Lakeview.
Is there a specialty that you want to do in engineering, like?
I was looking into aerospace engineering.
Who teaches? The high school teachers teach them, or does Minnesota West people teach
It's
them?
no, it's taught by a Lakeview teacher. They've had the program, and part of the challenge for them is to get enough students to be able to offer the classes. And so they reached out to us. We've got an engineering and a beginning engineering class, which is some computer-aided drafting. Some of the schools that are in the consortium don't have those opportunities, and so this really was the first class. Next year in the fall semester, we'll run a couple of additional classes. I have a planning meeting with the group next week, and then in semester 2, there'll be a couple of other classes, and then students can kind of pick and choose. But the idea is they start kind of with the basics, and then they can move through. And it'll start to specialize a little bit more in some areas of engineering.
Is there a specific instructor?
There is, yep. And he has been, you go to staff development and you become a certified instructor through Project Lead the Way. That's a national program, a national curriculum. And you get certified, and then you're able to teach those classes. So that, and again, that was made possible through the LIFT grant and LIFT funding, and that was Project Lead the Way. The next program that was made available was...
Question on that.
Yeah.
Do you need financial support to continue that from the school board?
That's probably a Mr. Munson question, because the way my understanding that the funding has worked is we continue to claim state aid, and then the host school then bills us, and we pay them for a portion.
But do you need in your budget support for
That comes from the school budget, not our building budget, Mr. Swope. And so that comes from the overall district budget.
But we're in
so-
charge of the overall district
Right.
budget.
So that's probably a Mr. Karen question.
There's still money in the grant? Is it still active?
So it was a 1 year, and so next week when we meet, one of our agenda items will be to talk about, are we going to apply for another grant based on the 2 additional classes that we'll want to
Grant is from the
to
state.
teach. The grant is from the state, yes. Yes, and in all of the political rhetoric, I've not yet heard if any new money was placed into the LIFT program. So, another program that was LIFT funded and available to us was our aviation exploration. And this program was run a little bit differently. So the program that Trey was in, they met during the school day and they receive a school credit for that. The aviation exploration program that Angel Garcia participated in, and also Erica, met on Saturday mornings, and so students did not receive academic credit for that. And it was not taught because it wasn't taught by a licensed teacher, but if we look at Pelsby, our state teacher licensing, part of that is if you have a national licensure. And so their class was taught by a certified flight instructor. So Angel and perhaps Erica, if you would like to share with the board kind of what the class was about and what your experiences were.
Hi, my name is Angel Garcia. I'm a junior at Marshall High School. Before I would like to talk about the course, I would just like to mention that I was looking for a flight school like a week before I took the course. I was like really frustrated and wanted to look for experience for flight school. And as I looked at the prices, they ranged from $8,000 to $12,000. But then I saw that our school offered the flight aviation school. So I decided to take the opportunity. And with this, we got to meet every Saturday, 9 to 12. And it was a fun, fast-paced course. But regardless, I think I understood most of what was taught. And there was also some simulators that were really fun. They were pretty realistic, so we got most of our experience there. And we also get some hours, flight hours as well. And I think it was something fun. I would like for other students in the future to get it, since it's not something you can take for granted. I really enjoyed it.
Is it possible, Mr. Jones, for them to get credit for this if you talk about nationally licensed?
Yeah, the total amount of hours that they have committed to that would really only equate to about a 0.25 academic credit. Where the value of this program comes in, and you guys are going to need to help me with some of the hourly requirements. How many hours do you need to become a licensed private pilot? 40 hours. And so that includes 40 hours of flight time. But as part of that, you have to complete the aviation ground school. And so the classroom portion of this program focused on the ground school part and has prepared the students to go and take the FAA written exam. That's sort of that first step that they'll have to pass in order to get their private pilot's license. As Angel mentioned, there's some significant costs there. And so what this class does is this pays a portion. It doesn't pay, when they're done with this class, they're not yet ready to go and get their private pilot's license, but they've got a start on it. And so of that 40 hours of the grant paid for 5 hours of flying time. And so, which is really probably enough to see if it's something that they have an interest in or something that maybe they thought they were interested in, but perhaps they weren't. So,
Erica, when you get your commercial license, your mom and dad can fly free with Delta, right?
Oh yeah, they're very excited for that.
that'll be about 10 years down the road. That'll be a while, but, so that's the aviation exploration and Project Lead the Way. Two very different programs, but two programs that help to address areas of high employment needs that have very strong industry outlook in the foreseeable future. We hear constantly about our shortage for engineers, and then also the shortage of folks in the transportation industry, and so this is focused in on that small segment of the aviation industry. Through these opportunities, we're trying to give our students some real life experiences and hopefully it helps them understand the work they've done in the classroom has really laid the foundation for what lies ahead, whether that be through career internship at Avera or as a speech therapist, pilot, and engineer. And Angel is a junior, and we met the other day, and he has a variety of careers that he's looking at, and so really just helping our students to see the big picture beyond life beyond high school, life beyond post-secondary education.
Trey, just a question. You were at Lakeview 2 full days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays?
2 mornings a week
2 mornings.
for about an hour and a half.
Just block one,
Okay.
and you would leave at, what, 10 after 9, 9:15, and get back to the high school for block 2.
All right.
So similar to the way it works with our Maytech CNA program, or even our welding program.
How do you get this information out to the students, the potential for them to sign up?
Well, we put it in our bulletin, we put it on our announcements, we hold informational meetings, usually 2 or 3 of those, just to try to pique some interest, explain. It's, you know, we are kind of selling an idea to students, and they've got to take the initiative to hear that it's going on. Hopefully word of mouth helps, and then just be there to try to answer questions. A career internship, we're making changes constantly to our application process in an effort to try and get more students. And sometimes it just doesn't work into a student's schedule, but we try to do what we can to make it fit. So again, these are all elective credit. Elective credit represents about 30% of a high school student's opportunities to choose a variety of classes outside of those core areas.
Do you like, well, what time of year do you go to try to find students to be in these programs for next year?
This, for Project Lead the Way, that started in the fall. We worked on the planning throughout the summer. We finalized it in the fall with the idea that would start we started that in January? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we went in the fall. The aviation was a pretty quick timeline for the spring, and so I think we had those meetings in February. Career internship runs both semesters, and so we have that aligned to our registration process. So when students start that in February, March, that's for the next year, and that's where they'll start to sign up for career internship. With all these programs, career internship, the aviation, we really kind of targeted it to juniors and seniors. Sophomores, 9th graders don't have a lot of flexibility in their schedule. Sophomores don't have a little more, but not as much. But sometimes transportation becomes an issue. I think up to Lakeview, some of the students carpooled. Our kids that go to Maytech for the CNA, sometimes they'll carpool with each other, and we don't want that to become a barrier or prohibiting factor, and so far it hasn't been.
How many kids have we had involved in the CNA and the welding program at Maytech? Quite a few.
I feel like, I would have to go back and look at the numbers. Those are 2 programs. You know, we started those programs when we moved from the mall to our current location, and I think that's been, we're probably in year 5 at that site. With CNA, we run a fall, and I think 2 springs, usually 3 sections. I think welding runs 3 sections. So I would guess after this many years, we're probably hitting the century mark. I would guesstimate. between those two programs. Career internship probably averages 10 to 15 students a year. So.
Any other questions? You guys picked out really good fields. They're in high demand.
Careers class probably has helped with that?
Yep.
Yep.
For sure.
Any other programs that we offer that you feel like have helped with that? Ramp Up, you probably would roll your eyes if I said that too loud. They don't really love that program after doing it 4 years, but hopefully it's helping them gain some skills and some insight into that next step that they'll be taking. Right? Hopefully.
Well, you only got 2 weeks left. Well, 4 of you do. Angel, you got another year, so.
I told, they had their final Monday school lunch today for the seniors, so.
Really?
I'm starting to reminisce a little bit.
Cool.
Is that something you celebrate, or? Everything, this is the last time.
So if you get a chance, Wednesday night career internship, I believe it starts
4 to 5.
at 4 to 5.
If they
And,
can't make 4 to 5, they can come at noon too,
you
right?
can come at noon, yep. 11 to 1, 11 to 12
Okay, 11 to 12.
during lunch, 11 to 12. So if you get a chance, stop by. There'll be a lot of interesting projects and research that the students have done.
Nicely done. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Moving on to our consent agenda, a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
It's open for discussion.
I would like to have an item from the consent agenda removed related to personnel, please.
Okay. That's a motion. I'll second that. Any discussion? Hearing none. We'll vote on this. You have a 2-cookie minimum. Very good. It passed. Moving on to personnel. Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
It's open for discussion. Hearing none, I'll call a vote. It is approved. Approval of the bills. Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Now a second. It's open for discussion.
Nothing really special, just wanted to point out food service, $0. That's not a discount by Taher. The bill just showed up last week, and so it didn't make the report. So next board meeting, you'll see a double on there. But everything else fell into place.
Very good. Any questions? Hearing none, let's vote. Oops. Oh, wait a
There we
second.
go.
Here
I got it now.
is.
Okay.
I went too fast.
Sorry. I was just.
It is approved. Financials. Anything you'd like to highlight?
No, everything's, percentages look good. Obviously tricky with some of the shifting of the dates, snow days and everything, but everything looks good.
Very good. Board forum, board members? Anything you'd like to bring up?
I had a meeting with the collaborative last week, and we elected to give an additional $1,000 to Marshall Public Schools. I let you know that, Dion. So, out of the collaborative funds. That's the Lincoln Land Student Collaborative, Children's Collaborative.
Just a reminder, Pride in the Tiger honors banquet on Wednesday.
Sounds good. 6.
48,000.
6:15. I have to be there earlier than
Everybody else is gonna write about it. Sorry.
Pride in the Tiger Foundation does a great job managing funds, soliciting funds for scholarships and programs. I give Janelle a great deal of credit for taking over. I don't know what the fund is this year, of scholarship, around $150,000 worth of scholarships to kids, and that's just huge. And I see two young ladies over there who are probably going to receive, so that's for your hard work. I'm proud that our foundation is as active as it is. And people, when I worked there, the 7 years as director, several people would come forward to add to the fund. And it's just a wonderful gift to our community.
I'll second that. I've been there since inception, so it's been,
Yeah.
it grows every year. That's great.
Yep.
So anything else, board members? Be sure to give some thought about, we're going to talk the next board member, our board meeting on, want to keep the structure of 2 meetings a month, work session, and then regular meeting. And MSBA does recommend to have a work session, and then your second meeting would be an action meeting. So that question that came up, so think about it and we'll discuss it next time.
I'm just going to weigh in a little bit. I remember the day when we had one meeting and we met forever. And we weren't as efficient as we probably could be. So,
Administrator's report. Dion, could you highlight that, please?
Love to, Jeff. Just go through, touch on some things in each report. Superintendent Munson's report, he shared about the May 14th referendum passing. The unofficial results were 1950 yes votes and 1180 no votes. There were 738 absentee ballots completed. Thank you, Tricia, Jill, and Carla for that. They were very busy.
worked hard.
Very hard. Which were included in the total of 3130. And just want to really, both Scott and I want to thank the community for their support in the referendum and to our school district. We'll be holding our annual celebration of staff excellence event on June 3rd at the high school at noon. We'll start with a luncheon and then a short program during which we'll have the opportunity to recognize many of the staff members for their years of service. We invite all licensed staff, support staff, as well as Southwest coaches and TAHER, and ask that you guys please mark your calendars for that also to attend.
That's at the high school.
Yep, at noon on June 3rd. And then just a little touch, you guys probably saw legislature somewhat agreed on a deal. And so they're looking at a $540 million E through 12 funding increase, which results to that 2% for the next 2 years. And then $40 million for broadband access, which still leaves $150 million potentially to go for special ed or our VPK program. So still time to advocate for that. I think they have a special session on Thursday. Hopefully iron everything out. Early childhood, Tiffany shared the application for Pathway 2 funds were received and reviewed. Little Cub Preschool was awarded Pathway 2 funds for 2019 and 2020 school year. Those funds are used for scholarships for children enrolled in the 3-year-old preschool. Also, 1920 preschool classes have been formed and letters were mailed out this week to inform families about their child's teaching, programming, and schedule. Parkside, the Minnesota Zoo mobile visited the first grade students again this year. Westside, Mr. Gagner shared a variety of year-end events happening at Westside, including the middle school tour, spelling bee, and the 3rd grade plays. Middle school, 5th grade, will be traveling to Pipestone on May 29th to learn more about Native American cultures and traditions. The music department will have their final concert on Thursday, May 23rd, 5th and 6th grade. Middle school is currently surveying students to determine their level of satisfaction. The survey includes a variety of topics ranging from safety, bullying, technology, lunch, classroom, and connections with staff. High school, Marshall High School was named state runner-up in the Vocabulary Bowl from vocabulary.com. We were one of 39,702 schools that utilized the online tool. Congratulations, Brian. Marshall High School Business Education teacher Brenda Kellen was recognized by M-State for going above and beyond to contribute to enriching students, learning, and enriching the K-12 program. And then we talked about the Pride in the Tiger banquet at 6:15 on May 22nd. There's also the Honors Convo, which is tomorrow at 8:10 a.m. if you're available to attend that. And then graduation is Friday, May 31st at 7 p.m. Maytech report, conferences were held Thursday, May 2nd. Graduation will be held Monday, May 28th at 2 o'clock at Maytech this year. Again, any of the board members that are available to attend, please do.
You know, how many graduates are we going to have, do you know, from Maytech?
I'm not sure. Activities Department report. On Wednesday, April 17th, Marshall High School held a vintage Tiger jersey and apparel sale. It was a whole bunch of old jerseys that Bruce had in boxes, and he sold over 300 pieces of that. And I can't remember what he's donating the money towards a project, but I can't remember what that was for. Marshall Track and Field community was excited about the opportunity to host the 2019 True Team Track and Field meet on Tuesday, May 7th. I think they actually had that meet because of the weather. Director of Special Ed, representatives from Wilmer Public Schools visited Parkside Special Ed program. They were able to discuss strategies, services provided, and allow them to observe how we integrate services into our regular classroom settings. Currently, we have 42 students registered for our ESY, which is our summer program. MEQ coordinator report. Beth shared that 8 of the teachers she worked with directly were asked to complete a year-end survey from the new teacher center. Once the survey is closed, we will have the opportunity to review and analyze the data. Early results from the access assessment that was taken earlier in the winter should be coming out in the next week or two. We will evaluate that also. We'll be able to evaluate our EL program and move forward with our plans for 1920 school year. And then Beth and Jeremy are working to develop a QComp plan that encompasses all areas of our QComp. They will share the documents with staff at the beginning of the 1920 school year. Director of Teaching and Learning, there's a committee that is continuing to review the e-learning day plan. There will be more information shared with the board at an upcoming meeting. We had several professional development opportunities to share with, we will have several professional development opportunities to share with staff on June 3rd. All sessions will be held at the high school in the morning and then followed by the celebration of staff excellence. Community services, registration for summer program activities began on May 1st, and they received 326 youth registrations in the first 2 days. Our Southwest Adult Basic Ed and Community Education coordinators partnered to present the Cultures Conference, which was held on Saturday, May 11th at the middle school. This event was geared towards educating the community on various cultures. I'll do my report before Jeff skips me. Just want to touch on a couple of things. We received the 2019 Finance Award. That's given out for the 2018 finance reporting year, and that's basically by following the state statute and the UFAR's accounting standards. I did want to point out, can you open that one? I thought this was something I just wanted to point out. we had our transportation survey, and with the winter we had, two of the questions that I compared to last year, one was, do you feel the child's transportation needs are being met? Last year was 86.4% said yes. This year was 92.93%, which increased. And then how would you rate the bus service of Marshall schools? And I basically took okay up to higher. And last year was 89.76, and this year was 95.95%. And with the winter we had, I thought that was just something we needed to point out and thank Southwest coaches for doing, and their bus drivers for doing such a great job. And then on the bottom, just wanted to give you guys an update on our food service negative balance. Taher has done a really great job since January. Well, they do a great job all the time, but getting some of those paid. So since January 16th, we've collected almost $5,000 in that negative balance, bringing our negative balance down from $10,653 to $5,656, which is one of our lower amounts. So thank them for all their hard work. Now you two can go.
I have the Marshall High School report. MHS Seniors Honors Convocation will be on May 21st at the MHS Gymnasium. Marshall High School Vocal Pops concert, grade 9 and 12, will be at the theater. The orchestra concert will also be on the theater for grade 4 through 12. Noon release on Friday, May 31st. Seniors' last day on May 28th. And graduation will be held at 7 p.m. for the class of 2019. May Tech graduation ceremony will be on May 28th at 2 p.m. Last day will be on May 31st. Westside Elementary 3rd grade field trip to the zoo will be on May 24th. No school on next Monday for Memorial Day. 3rd grade spelling bee will be on May 28th. 4th grade carnival will be on May 30th, and noon dismissal on Friday, May 31st.
So for the middle school, on May 23rd, there's 5th and 6th grade general music concert at 6 p.m. and 7th and 8th grade choir concert at 7:30. And on May 28th, grades 4 through 12 orchestra concert at the high school at 7 p.m. And at Parkside, on May 20th, the 2nd graders are going on a field trip to watch the 3rd grade plays, and they have map reading tests for kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade this week. All library books are due May 22nd, kindergarten field trip to Brookings Children's Museum on May 24th, and 1st graders are headed to the YMCA on May 28th, and Mrs. Karen's class is headed to Hardee's on May 28th as well.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to our discussion items, this is the first review of policies 414 through 419. Any questions? School board goals. Our goals are printed there. It looks like we're doing fairly well with our advocating. Nice job everybody did on the bond referendum, all the extra effort that everybody put in. I appreciate that. I'm sure our children will appreciate that down the road. And you can look at the revised City of Ghent tax increment report.
It's just a time change in the meeting.
Moving on to our action items. Approval of the Parkside carpet installation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
It's open for discussion.
So this is part of a 3-year project, recarpeting Parkside. Last year we started. This year we'll be doing the second part. Carpet is bought through our cooperative purchasing, but we bid out the labor, the installation of it. And Mike's Flooring, our local vendor, was the low bidder, so he'll, with your recommendation, will be awarded the bid. So So it's our recommendation to give him exploring.
Very good. Any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. It is approved. Approval of resolution to canvass the returns of votes for the school district special election. Motion to approve. Need a second. It's open for discussion.
I would like to thank our public for their vote. I think the 62-38% differentiation was excellent. Excellent support for our public. And so all who came and voted, and those who have especially voted to replace West Side especially, and beef up the security in all of our buildings, a special thank you to our public for that.
I agree. Agree to vote. It is approved. Authorization to advertise and hire part-time summer grounds position. Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
It's open for discussion.
So last year we had 2 high school students help out during the summer. What we'd like to do is advertise for 1 part-time position that Corey, our groundskeeper, can interview. It'd be 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, 10 weeks during the summer. Should be a neutral cost.
Very good. Any discussion?
But do these students have to be 18 to operate machinery?
This will be open up to anybody,
Okay.
this position, but yes, 18 to actually run like the lawnmowers and stuff. Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, please vote. It is approved. Approval of resolution related to the sale of bonds. Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's open for discussion.
So the resolution is actually, it's just that, it's Ellers, our financial advisors, giving them the authorization to start the process. And then June 3rd, they'll be here to go through the pre-sale report, which will be, it's pretty interesting.
Okay, very good. Call for a vote. It is approved. And meeting's over. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It is interesting.